Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. My next guest, funny comic. He's been here before. He's doing a theater in Ohio. I'll get you more details on that Saturday. Jason Kanter's here. What's up, buddy?
Hey.
Where exactly are you?
Tiffin, Ohio. It's in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, I've been to Lorain. I've been to Cleveland, Cincy, obviously, Tiffin. Yeah, Lorain, Ohio was extraordinarily scary.
What was the gig there?
It was a theater. It was like an old movie theater. They turned into a regular theater, and they came up with some good scratch. It was about 7 years ago.
Yeah.
You fly into Cleveland, and you're like, you never think you're so disappointed to leave Cleveland. And the promoter had like a Toyota Corolla 82, and we got in that, and we go an hour to Lorain, Ohio. Oofa. So where is it exactly?
Tiffin, Ohio. It's like 90 miles from Cleveland, 90 miles from Columbus, 90 miles from Detroit. It's like in the
What's
middle
the
of
name
nowhere.
of it?
Ritz Theater, I think
Ritz
it is.
Theater.
Yeah.
All right, so you'll check them out Saturday night. You got a pretty good story you're just telling me about. You played my old buddy, Vinny Brand, my current buddy, got one of the best clubs I've played a million times, Stress Factory in New Brunswick, New Jersey. You played that this weekend with Vinny from the Jersey Shore.
Vinny G from the Jersey Shore. Yeah.
You know, of all those guys, I've seen him on TV in interviews. He seems like a nice guy. He seems like a guy, not a jerk. Seems like a good man, right?
Yeah, he was super sweet. I knew nothing about him too, and I expected a douche with an entourage to walk into the green room and start telling people what to do. It wasn't even the weekend; it was just yesterday for one show, so it got like a late call. And but he's smart about it too, because he doesn't headline, he doesn't have a big ego or anything. He just hosts the show. He does his 10 up front.
And how is it? He got material that's workable, or?
Yeah, I think he's gonna. It's impossible to judge someone 9. He's 9 shows in. He told me.
The ninth time. I don't know if he's the ninth time.
But yeah.
Was it packed, the place?
Sold out. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, packed to the gills.
Nice.
And but Vinny Brand does it. He's smart, so he gets comics to so people don't feel ripped off.
It's a business decision, absolutely. Yeah, you gotta have someone who's actually is going to make them laugh. Though.
Yeah, and he has got good timing. He's got some jokes, so he's going to be fine.
So he does 10 up front.
He does 10 up front, and then I was walking behind him in the crowd, and a girl. He's like a broad where like a girl reached out and just grabbed his ass as we were walking by, and he thought it was the waiter. He's like, "What?" He like, "Hey, the waiter he'd already made friends with." And
How
then
many?
It was this just like some 19-year-old girl from Rutgers.
Of course it was. How many other comics does he have on the show? He hosts, and there's 3.
He hosts. The house MC went up and did some time. A kid from New York, and then me, Vinny Brand goes up. He does some time, and then Pat Dixon. I don't know if you know Pat.
Yeah. When I first started on the Stern Show, Stuttering John offered me like a similar deal. He goes, I said, all right, if you want to go out a couple of times, and he goes, we'll split the money, down the middle. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, all right, what's this? He goes, I'm gonna host. I'll do 5 up front, and can you do 45? Like, yeah, John, but can we, revisit the money?
Renegotiate this contract.
Well, that's good that he's trying to do. He could probably maybe he's selling out clubs. It's about 300 people at the Stress Factory, right?
Yeah, I guess he did like Governors and Levity Live, and he's doing all the local.
He's got to be scared a little bit that they had such fame. Like, how do you hold on to that now? How does it keep going,
Yeah, how do you keep people coming out?
Right, yeah.
But the audience was great. They were very, attentive, and they were very giving. It was, like, one of the best audiences I've seen. Sometimes you get, like, a young audience, and they're too,
right. They don't
politically
shut
correct,
up.
Or they don't shut up.
Or they're scared of the jokes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's good. Well, that's good to hear. What, you do the road a lot?
A decent amount.
Yeah.
I try to.
You go west of Ohio a lot, or you try to keep it like a... that's the worst thing with me is the stress of flying.
Yeah.
Road gigs. Now I try to keep stuff maybe, east of Chicago. But, there's a lot of money out there, too.
Yeah, well, hopefully this theater thing happens, because I guess there's going to be snow in Cleveland Saturday. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be another...
Snow in Cleveland, man. That is romantic. I just did it. I was there Thanksgiving weekend. I was in Cleveland. I played a theater. And the good thing about Cleveland, man, is they're great comedy crowds. They're loyal. They love... They like self-deprecating humor. I did 20 minutes on the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
The Browns were playing the Jaguars the day after my gig, and I said, "Who's going to that game?" Like the whole audience raised their hand. I'm like, "You people are just wonderful. You're going to a Browns Jaguar game tomorrow. Like, how do you get up for that?"
Are you
Yeah,
a Browns
it's gotta
fan?
Be free tickets.
How do you get up without meth?
No,
You're a
I never
Bengals guy?
liked the Browns. No, I was. I'm actually Chicago. I grew up in the '80s, and I was.
You grew up in Chicago?
No, I grew up in Cleveland, but I loved Peyton. I loved McMahon. My grandmother always called the Browns the pigs. She's like, the pigs are miserable this year.
Yeah.
You grew up in Cleveland proper, like a suburb of Cleveland?
Suburb of Cleveland.
It's it's like are you mad at LeBron? Are you one of the Cleveland guys who hates him?
No, I made me and my buddy went out and watched. We were somewhere in the village watching the announcement or whatever it was, the decision. But
the decision.
He was pissed, but I was like, well, we left Cleveland when we were 25 too. So how can you
for a lot less money?
for no money? Yeah, for 10 grand in debt.
That's an excellent point. Exactly. A lot of guys, if you're going to get into a business, show business or anything else, you might have to leave Cleveland, and you're doing it. It costs you money. You're going to blame this guy for going for $200 million in Miami?
Yeah, that's the goal. Like when I went to Ohio State, I didn't turn back. Like I left at 19, and that was it.
So you did the dream thing for Cleveland, Ohio State, and then
get
wheels up.
Did you see what the Browns did hiring wise today?
I saw. I never.
Patton?
Well, it's the second coach in a row that I didn't never heard his name.
Yeah,
before.
exactly. Well, that's the thing. Last year at this time, everyone's like, "Who's Rob Chudzinski?" And then he did a great job, and they fired him anyway.
Yeah, they had a pretty good year.
Listen, if Brian Hoyer, their
What was their
quarterback,
record?
I don't know, it wasn't very good. But
Okay.
if Brian Hoyer would not have blown his knee out, I think they would have had a great season. I mean, a much more respectable season than they did because they had quarterback problems after that.
Well, it's funny. Cleveland was 4-12. It changed on me. So again, but listen, you're a Bears fan, so what does it matter to you? You jumped ship a long time ago.
Well, nothing they've ever done made sense. The Browns, like you hire a no-name guy for 1 year, and then you
even
get rid
worse
of him.
now.
Well, if you're going to bring in John Gruden, it's one thing, but like you're bringing in
I think that's
another
what they were
no-name
trying
guy
to do.
for another year.
Well, that's the
but-
thing. They said, listen, we're targeting a guy. I thought they had a plan when they got rid of Chudzinski.
Yeah, some backroom dealings.
We're targeting a guy because we have all this money and we have all these draft picks. We need someone with experience, And so they go and get a guy with no experience as a head coach, long after they fired Chudzinski. I thought maybe they were looking at some of the guys who were still coaching.
Dad, do we have a plan? Do we have a plan, Dad? No,
Patton's
shut
team
up.
wasn't in the playoffs. I mean, they could have hired him right off the bat if he was their first choice. He was like their 8th choice.
Here's the biggest.
He was like the only guy who would take the job that was at all appealing.
Screw
no
that
one
story.
wants to go there.
Screw that story. Look what Tanaka's banging. Okay? The Artie Lange Show. Back into it. Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Jason Kanter's here. He'll be at the Ritz Theater in Tiffin, Ohio. This
The big
Saturday.
time.
The big time. Hey, listen, man.
Yeah.
We all do it.
Yeah.
So now you're a Bears fan.
Yeah.
What'd you think of this tough loss at the end of the year there? Do you believe Aaron Rodgers is in fact gay as a Bears fan? Have you heard these rumors?
Yeah, I've heard the rumors.
A lot of Chicago Bears fans seem to be going with it.
But they would go with any, he's a cross-dresser, he's
Right.
queen, whatever,
Yeah, it seems like they would go with anything. Yeah,
I do like the Smigel commercials with the Robert Smigel.
that's funny.
and,
The grill class.
I think they're great.
The grill class.
Yeah.
Double tack. You realize how big a guy he is, Aaron Rodgers, when he sits next to those guys. They look like kids next to him. I mean,
Yeah.
like NFL quarterbacks, that's a big guy.
That's
he
the
doesn't
thing.
look big on the field.
Well,
like
that's the
that.
thing. You're standing next to 6'9", 350-pound guys.
6'9"?
every play. Yeah, the offensive lineman. I mean, your
Oh,
tackles.
yeah.
Your tackles are like 6'7" to 6'9".
Right. That's
350
incredible.
pounds, and
That's
those are
incredible.
the guys they're standing next to all the time. It's
Well-
embarrassing to me. Like I feel like I'm a big guy
Right.
in real life, but
John, dude,
when I
you are a big
You are.
when I return to like today, I was working with the guy David Deal,
Yeah,
the
that's a big guy.
tackle for the Giants, and I'm watching him talk, like looking longingly
He's
at his
6'9"?
gigantic face way up here. Yeah,
Right.
And it just it reminds me that I'm just a medium guy.
But that
in
could
the
be
grand scheme of
that could be a
things.
curse.
Medium sized.
Unless you're on the football field, that's a curse. I
Those
think.
guys are huge.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do anything because, I don't like sitting like in a plane. Sitting in a plane's tough.
It's awful.
Like, fitting into.
Well, try
things
doing
is
it
tough.
morbidly obese. Calm down.
Dude, I've been morbidly obese.
Oh, you
I know
haven't.
what it's like.
You haven't.
How tall is Russell Wilson? Because there was a pass late
He's
in that
not a
game
big
where
guy.
I couldn't,
Really
I
short.
couldn't believe a long pass
Probably
down the middle.
5'10".
I don't even know
He
how he
seems-
saw that far down the field.
It's
Right.
with all
amazing.
those guys.
He and Drew Brees. Drew Brees is
Instinct.
taller than Russell Wilson. They list Russell Wilson at 5'11", but he's
I thought Drew
probably
Brees was a real
more
tall
like
guy. He's
5'10".
not. He's a shorter guy, huh?
6 feet.
Well, what do you think about the quarterback situation in Chicago? What do you think about the decisions they?
I was surprised that Cutler got signed to that kind of a deal.
Yeah.
I thought,
Yeah,
I thought
me too.
people
A lot of
wanted
people
him
were,
out, and
yeah.
I thought he was on his way out.
I'm
and
shocked. I'm
That
shocked.
just that. I never trusted a quarterback with a double chin ever. He's got
That's
diabetes,
hard.
whatever.
And
It's
Chris,
weird.
and
It's a
Kristen
weird book.
Cavallari as a wife.
Look at
you
Ben
gotta be
Ro-
a superficial
Ben
guy.
Roethlisberger's got the he's got the double chin
guess
going
he
on
does.
too a little bit, but he's just a
Now
big,
he does.
big brute.
Well, I think once you get this couple of Super Bowl rings, you can start.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
lay back. Yeah, I know that's an interesting point.
I didn't think Mark Trestman. He was an assistant in Oakland when I was there, and the year that we went to the Super Bowl, he came in.
Yeah.
And he's just a kind of guy, like a really smart guy, like a good teacher. I felt like he didn't like Jay Cutler. I felt like because Jay Cutler was so set in his ways and headstrong and just didn't.
Tough guy to coach.
Yeah, maybe a difficult personality. I just didn't. I felt like Mark Trestman thought he could coach anybody up to do the job Jay Cutler was doing.
It's like
and
the
he
nerdy-
proved it with Josh McCown.
It's like the nerdy gym teacher with the punk senior who's already got 3
Yeah.
years of varsity.
Yeah,
I know that's
what
always
it felt
pathetic
like.
to see. Is like when the gym teacher's not as cool as the senior.
And that's what
It's
exactly.
like,
the
I'm not
situation.
listening to your rules, Dad.
Yeah. Well, that Mark Trestman coached up a career backup, Josh McCown, to put up better numbers than Jay Cutler did. And then you bench him in favor of Jay Cutler just to see if Jay Cutler is the guy. And he didn't play better
So
than
do you
Josh
think
McCown.
because
had.
McCown is
But you
malleable.
still-
Is that why you think that he would listen to it?
McCown was willing to learn, and Trestman is a good teacher. He's a smart guy.
Well-
but I just can't believe you'd pay him $20 million a year, or whatever it is. What are they paying him, Dan?
Who?
Something like that,
Cutler?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's a $20 million.
$20
He got
million
like
a
the
year
Flacco
for that guy.
The Flacco
He's
contract.
never going to win a Super Bowl.
You're right. I think. You think he's better than Tony Romo? Cutler? Are they like the same
Kinda,
type of guy?
They both are going to let you down as much as
Wow.
as much as they succeed. They will let you down.
They will let you
equally.
down. They will make you hurt.
They're not consistent. Yeah, they're inconsistent in their decision making. They're going to make amazing plays. Jay Cutler's got a better arm than Tony Romo, but Tony Romo's a great athlete too. They're going to make some great plays, but they're just going to make some bonehead plays that lose you games.
By the way, I bet a guy, San Francisco, Seattle. He was talking up Seattle all night. I knew him a little bit, and I was like, $20. You know, I got just to make it fun, make it interesting. I got Seattle. I'll give you 3.5 points. That's what the line is right now. And he's like, man, I don't play those lines. And I was like, no, I'm. And I actually, they're fair. I'm going to give you. He goes, no, man. He goes straight up, or we're not making the bet. I'm like,
Wow. That's hilarious.
All right, dude,
he
20
wanted
bucks.
He wanted San Francisco.
yes.
Oh wow.
That's
Okay.
hilarious.
And
I
which,
thought
which-
San Francisco was going to win that game too.
and Seattle was up by 3 at one point. And I was like, this is the best bet ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's fun when gambling goes that way. I can take another break, and we'll back and end this thing with Jason Kanter after this. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the music stylings of Bruno Mars. Get ready for a fun halftime.
The
If you
Chili
like-
Peppers are playing too.
I know, but who's going on first?
They could salvage that.
Well, I hope the
halftime
Chili
show.
Peppers go first so I could get into some warmth at the stadium before the Bruno Mars set hits down.
Was that a late ad because people were mad? How did that?
Maybe.
They were kind of thrown in at the end. weren't they?
Yeah, I didn't know that the Chili Peppers were going to
They're
play.
like,
It
let's
was-
make
I
this-
think it was a late ad.
Let's make this cool.
Yeah.
Let's get Bruno Mars and Flea up there doing a quick thing together. By the way, real quick, I want to say this again. Our friend Mike Boschetti this Sunday night at the Broadway Comedy Club in New York City. 9 o'clock show.
Look at that.
Headline.
How many minutes are you doing, Mike?
Boschetti.
I'm just going to close, maybe 30.
Beautiful.
Wow.
I might show up to that. And, of course, Jason Kanter will be in Tiffin, Ohio this Saturday night at the Ritz Theater. Check him out there. Now, do you go back to Cleveland a lot? Do you have a lot of friends and family still in Cleveland?
No, more so in Columbus. I consider that my
okay.
hometown now. My parents were divorced. My mom went down to Columbus afterwards, so that's where I.
Pretty cool town. I played the Funny Bone there a couple times.
Yeah. That's a room they pack usually. 6
Yeah,
nights
in
a
the
week.
in the mall there, they're a great crowd, man.
Yeah.
Great crowd. I like the Ohio crowds. Cleveland is a tough, cool town.
Oh,
Whoa!
Bruno.
We gotta
Did
go.
we just get
Bruno
sound
agrees.
bombed by Bruno Mars and the Chili Peppers? Now, what do you think of the Bruno Mars selection as a football fan for the halftime show? Are you a fan of Bruno Mars?
I want to see Pearl Jam do it. I'm a big
That
Pearl
would
Jam
be
fan.
great.
Like, I think they do some of the.
And they're touring still. I mean, they're around.
Yeah,
They're very
I
active.
they're
heard
out
they
of the
put on a
country.
great show now.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, like some of the Who songs they do. Like, I know you're a big Who fan.
He's
but
great with the Who song.
He nails it. Like some of that "Love Rain Over Me" and stuff.
Yep.
Like the vocals just.
He's got a great voice for that. Did you see the 12-12-12 Sandy
Yeah.
relief concert when he came out with Floyd, Roger Waters, and he did Comfortably Numb?
Yeah.
He did the chorus for Comfortably Numb. That was a great thought to do that,
Oh, that was great. A couple of years ago, they did. It was Ringo and Paul McCartney got together at Radio City Music Hall for some sort of I don't know what it was a benefit for. But
Right. The closest you can get to the Beatles.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, yeah.
But they did. Ben Harper and Eddie Vedder did Under Pressure, the back and forth.
Oh,
and
that's
it's
awesome.
unbelievable.
That sounds amazing. Is there a recording of that somewhere?
Yeah, there's
Ben
like you can see some like rough YouTube recordings, but it sounds great.
I bought a bootleg of the Clash once. I'll never forget this, on cassette in Greenwich Village. Me and my buddy bought it on West 4th Street, probably 1986, of the Clash playing in 82. We put it on. They start to play. You could barely hear them. You hear the guys recording it. This is what you hear. You go, Eddie, pass the hooch. $11.
$50.
$11. Gave it a shot. West 4th Street. Thanks so much for coming out, Jason. Come back again anytime.
Thanks for
And
having me.
again, Tiffin, Ohio, the Ritz Theater this Saturday. Check him out. Rich Gannon, great guest. Please come back anytime and talk some football. Hopefully we'll have him back soon. Mike
love
Gaffney, great comic. Look for him at the Borgata next week. And David Wells, one of my favorite guests ever. And Mike Boschetti, once again, Sunday night at the Broadway Comedy Club, 9 p.m. I might go. I might not go.
Good. Oh, no, don't.
Check it out.
It'll be great. Thank you, buddy.
It's not all about you, Mike. The Artie
No,
Lange.
never.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.